right, we should be live. Okay, looking good. Cool. For those of you joining, welcome to the Mr. Bravo live stream. This is going to be a semi-regular occurrence. In the meantime, I'm going to turn the music down. It's a little bit loud, even for my standards. Okay, so this live stream, or these series of live streams, are basically just going to be me writing down ideas, writing down scripts, and just things for new videos, essentially. So right now I'm writing a video about the nickel and dime epidemic, is what it's called. And I wrote another one earlier about why physical media needs to stay, or why music needs to stay physical. And yeah, basically just going to be using these as sessions. And this is all running through the VCR right here. Everything that you're seeing is actually through the VCR, live streaming. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll be able to see chat here for those people that are not currently here. And yeah, just for me, I guess to also archive my own adventure, you know. Like, I think it's important that I hold myself to account and that I just do what I can. So this is basically what I would do on a normal workday anyway, just with my fucking glasses. And then, yeah, so we shall get started, shall we? Okay, we'll turn the music up a little bit. Again, first line, it's a bare bones operation here. Okay, it's not like guaranteed to be a ideal situation here, but figuring that I don't really have anybody watching at the moment anyway, I figured I can be a little bit loosey goosey, as the cool kids say. I got a little film slate right here. What even is that? Oh yeah, that's my touch grass video. That's funny. Clack. Oh, yeah, this is the video that nobody really watched, unfortunately. Could be a case of the algorithm, could also be a case of my VCR not really being having enough resolution. So we shall see. Let's see. Is there even anybody watching? The thunder. Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, well, let's see how this works. All right, I'll just get back to work. Damn, how far behind is the stream? Yeah, there we go. I was about to say. Good lord. This section will be interesting to write. So, I guess I'll just do a quick recap. So basically, for the nickel and dime epidemic, the starting bit is basically you have the government and private companies being in an abusive relationship with a regular person, right? And they're both screwing this person over, and the person's just like, well, screw you, I'm leaving. But they can't, it's a whole thing. Why is it like this? Spam title card. You go to the intro, and basically, yeah, things are getting more expensive, and the services are getting worse. The middle class is disappearing on an alarming rate. The current iteration of the U.S. economy is built on hype, so like AI and stuff like that. We got a debt crisis. Houses are too expensive, and basically, like, greed is consuming us all. Just kind of writing that down. Lack of competition makes things worse for all of us, and then how are we being screwed? We get into the next section, companies in general. Or when I say companies, I'm going to change this to mega corporations. Because I do want to make it clear, like, small business isn't really screwing... small business isn't really screwing countries. Or not countries. God, I'm so tired. Small business isn't really screwing the country. I would argue it's mega corporations, or one of them. So we'll go in there, yeah. So like the average price of things compared to our purchasing power, how that has shifted. And like cheap materials are being used, things are overpriced for being poor quality. Looking at the Amazon business model, looking at the Walmart business model, and then the general gist is you undercut your competition. When the competition can't afford to keep up with you, you then don't have that competition. You can raise your prices because you're the only game in town, essentially. Startups basically want to be bought out. So if you're going to start a company, you are essentially... your main goal is to be bought up by one of the big players. You see that mostly in like big tech and stuff like that. So you're for Google will, I don't even, actually that's a good point. I should probably write down Google because Google does this all the time. They buy out a whole bunch of companies just to kill them off, essentially. And I think Google even has like a graveyard or like a digital graveyard of companies that have been bought out in the past and then just been destroyed, essentially. So want to look more into that, and then yeah, if you don't want to be bought out, companies will find a way. Those companies will find a way to destroy you. Profit and boring stuff. Where's this extra money going? Basically, making the point of you have a lot of these companies, or like especially the like very ultra wealthy companies. And I think that's another thing that I do want to talk about, because it's not just the capitalism bad. Like it's not. I do want to make the point of like, which this is the where I'm trying to write very carefully, because I have one section which is buy now, pay later. I'm not sure if I want to keep this in the video or have it be a separate section. That's still I'll get to that. But the point that I do also want to make in the final section of the video of like you have private companies and the government working together to screw over the middle class, extract as much wealth as possible, and basically wash money between themselves, essentially. So you have massive companies that then lobby the government to change regulation in their favor. The government gets a big payment, essentially, from the lobbyists. They then change the laws and change the rules to make sure that they get their way, essentially, while screwing over small business, screwing over competition, various laws in place, and that's where I want to get to the last part. But for this next part, the buy now, pay later stuff I'll get to in a second. But the next part, the government regulation makes doing business way more expensive. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of barriers to entry, certain tax breaks. But even then, if you look at the amount of tax that the average small business pays across the board, their percentage of the percentage of actual taxes that they pay is higher, I would argue, compared to someone like Amazon, where on paper they should pay more, but they can hire a strong legal team. They can find ways to get around paying taxes. You got offshore business accounts. You have a whole bunch of different ways to basically make sure that you don't have to pay that money, you know? And the printing of money definitely doesn't help. So the idea that like you got stuff like the CARES Act during COVID, which that act essentially made it so that the government could just print infinite money, essentially, and the Treasury just has the ability to do that. And then, shockingly, inflation goes haywire. Started under Trump, was continuing under Biden, still continues under Trump. Point is that inflation, yeah, like you have certain economic policies, but if the government just literally prints money, what the hell are you supposed to do? Of course, your purchasing power is going to go down. Monopolies aren't being enforced, and yeah, to the point of like if you follow all the rules as a business, you're actively screwing yourself in the sense of like, yeah, there's obviously certain rules and regulations that you need to follow, but if you find ways to just try and do a business without maybe like one piece of paperwork, or like just off the top of my head, if you are an HVAC repair shop, right, and you don't have certification to be doing business as an HVAC company, that's very different. But if you need to do a bunch of environmental study, or actually a better example, because this is just off the top of my head, if you're trying to build a house, right, you can't really build a house because you need to do a bunch of environmental impact studies and this and that and certain this and all these various things that then you need to pay various bureaucrats off. It's just a whole thing that just makes it so much more complex than it needs to be. Just generational ineptitude I wrote down. Politicians don't know how business works. And that, my point is more so that a lot of politicians they get into politics and then they stay in politics the rest of their life. I'm not saying that the country necessarily needs to be run like a company, God forbid. The point is more that that if politicians are going to make policy for businesses, they should at least understand how to run a business in the first place. So if you have somebody like, again, and from like a local and state government point of view, that I think is a much stronger point to be made. Federal government, okay, you're federal, like yeah, I get that. But state and local, so many politicians truly have no clue how challenging it is to run a business, not an Amazon or a Walmart type business, but a small business shop. Where does that money go? What are capital gains? All these things that a lot of politicians, I truly believe, just don't understand. I don't know either. I'm just a fucking YouTuber running a stream through a VCR. What the hell do I know? But I know enough about that. Yeah, and then the last part, which I haven't written anything down for, but while I'm already stream of consciousness, in case somebody actually does decide to join the live stream, which, is there anybody even in here? Ooh, we had one viewer. That's nice. But yeah. So if oh yeah. So I digress. The last point that I want to make is the government and mega corporations are essentially being as the corporations are being as greedy as humanly possible to make it so that they don't have any competition, and that lack of competition is enforced by government policy. So they both work hand in hand together to essentially work within their own interests and crush everything for the middle class and the lower class, obviously too. But if you're not part of the club, you're fucked essentially. So that's kind of the point that I want to make, and then ending the video on a less depressing note. But it's hard to do. It's challenging to do when shit's just kind of fucked in a certain regard. I feel like, for me personally, it doesn't really make a difference which political party you're a member of. I mean, right now the Republicans are in charge. They have control of everything. And their messaging of being the party of small government and then finding ways to just be more, like, increasing the power of the federal government. But the Democrats, policy-wise, are very similar too. They're obviously not the same, but the point being is that the Democrats will find a way to tax the shit out of you. The Republicans will find a way to basically increase state surveillance. And either which way, both parties are enabling these humongous companies to get richer and richer and screw everybody else over in the process. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's basically my rant on what this video, what the idea for the video is. But I do want to have it written down. It's fun. It's also nice to do something on paper for a change, as opposed to just having a bunch of screens. But yeah, just because it's not very helpful if I just have a bunch of stuff written down in my head, and also another thing is, like, I start writing scripts and stuff like that, and then I realize, like, well, I don't really have any tassel. I don't really have any guidance on where I want that to go. So, like, I'll be writing, like, well, this doesn't really make sense, this and this, but this way I can at least have everything written down, have a general overview of what I even want to write about. Kind of figuring out, okay, where do I nail down my research? What do I target? And then kind of going from there. So, and then we got peaceful music in the background. I'm tired. Oh, that was also very loud. Sorry. Let's see. Anybody here? Well. Enable DVR. What was that? There we go. How do I share my stream? Share? I'm gonna just fucking add the boys. Gotta get some viewers in the stream, boy. And of course, Discord is taking 10,000 years. Oh, excuse me. I'm so fucking tired. It's been a long day. Been a long week. Let's see. Come on, Discord. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, Discord. No, I don't want Nitro. That's challenging trying to get viewers. Not necessarily my audience. Okay, well. I want to take a quick break and grab a quick bite to eat. I'll be right back. Actually, I will mute myself for the time being. Protein bar. Oh shit. We have a viewer. Hello. How do you do? Hello, viewer. Or has said viewer disappeared? Either way, my lunch break is over. It is time for me to get back to work. Ooh, 2 viewers. Wow. Welcome to the writing stream. I hope you enjoy your time. Let's see. Let's see if I'm still. Yep, we're good. Oh, and they've all left. All right, well, see you. How do I? Is it? Hold on. Let me figure this out. Privatize the gains, socialize the losses. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for after all. Excuse me. Anybody in here? Anybody want to chat or ask a question? I'm happy to chat with you about anything. Anything and everything, if you can believe it. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, the option is there if you wanna do it. You know, it's up to you. But I'm not gonna say no. But at least consistent viewership, I can handle that. But if anybody wants to chat, I am I'm here. I'm here to chat. You know. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. That. How does the audio sound, by the way, for whoever it is that is hanging out in here? I appreciate you hanging out. If the audio is good, that would be very helpful to know for my future live streams if I decide to continue to do these. Not sure if I want to keep that one in, but balance. All right. Page 2 complete. Look at that. Ain't she a beauty? Oh yeah. Okay, for this next, so how do I want to do this? Because okay, so we have the start intro, mega corporation, buy now, pay later. Still not sure if I want to keep that. Government, mega corporations. What can you do? Yeah, because I don't want to just be like fucking all like doomery and shit. Yeah. Did somebody actually chat? Oh, crap. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Still there? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Because, okay. I think, yeah. What can we do? And outro. Right? Yeah, because I don't want to make them too long. The beats would be a little bit too long. Goodbye, viewer. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do. Yeah, what can we do? Okay, I'm gonna end the live stream right now. I think this was a good first live stream. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.